Hi boys and girls, today I'm going to show you how to explain the size of the product and relate fraction and decimal equivalents to multiplying a fraction by 1. Let's begin. We have 2 halves of 3/4. Let's write a multiplication expression to solve. 2 halves times 3/4 because of means multiplication. Now when we multiply 2 times 3, which is 6, and we multiply 2 times 4, which is 8. So my answer is 6/8. Let's draw an area model to verify our solution. We're going to draw 3/4. Right here is 3/4. Okay, I'm going to shade that area. Okay, I'm going to use a different color to help me, but I'm going to show 2 halves. So I'm going to split it in half. And to show 2 halves, which is 1 whole, I'm going to shade all of that. And my answer will be what's shaded by both. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 2, 4, 6, 8 sections. So my answer is 6/8, which is equivalent to what we got up here. Let's try another one. We have 3/3 of 3/4. So we're doing 3/3 times 3/4. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. We have 9/12. Let's draw an area model to verify our solution. We have 3/4. We're going to shade 3/4. Now we want 3/3. So I'm going to split it into thirds the other direction, and we're going to have 3 of those. I'm going to shade all 3 of those. My answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 3, 6, 9, 12, which is equivalent to what we got when we did the standard algorithm. As you're noticing, we're getting an equivalent fraction. So 3/4 is equivalent to 9/12. But how are we getting an equivalent fraction? You got it. We're multiplying by 1 whole. 3/3 is equal to 1 whole. Let's try one last one. We're going to do 1/5 of 2/2. So 1/5 times 2/2, which again equals to 1. So we're making an equivalent fraction. 1 times 2 is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Let's draw an area model to verify our solution. We're drawing 2 halves. I'm going to shade both halves. Now we're drawing fifths, and we're going to shade one of those fifths. Our answer is 2 are shaded out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 out of 10, which is the same as what we got up here. So again, we multiplied by 1, which gave us an equivalent fraction. So now we're going to use what we just learned to use fractions to rename 1/4 as a decimal. So if we want to make it a decimal, my 4, my denominator, has to be a 10, a 100, or a 1,000, because in order to make it a decimal, it has to be, for example, 1/10, which I can write like this. It has to be 100th, which is like this, or it has to be 7,000ths, which would look like this. So we have to have the denominator be 10, 100, or 1,000. So we're going to try to get 4 to either 10, 100, or 1,000 right here. So can 4 become 10? 4 times a number equal 10? No. Can 4 become 100? Is 4 times a number equal 100? Yes, so we're going to use 100. Now all I need to do is figure out what my 1 whole is going to be, and I'm going to put that right here as a fraction. So 1/4 times a number, 1 whole, that's equal to 1 whole, is going to equal a number over 100. So I know that 4 times 25 is equal to 100. So I'm going to multiply by 25/5. And 1 times 25 is 25. So 1/4 is equivalent to 25 hundredths. Now how can I write 25 hundredths as a decimal? I know when I say 25 hundredths, the 5 comes right before the hundredth, so the 5 has to go in the hundredths place. and the 2 goes before that, which is in the tenths place, and then I know I have a decimal. So I'm going to use fractions to rename 1/20th as a decimal again. So 20 either needs to go to 10, 100, or 1,000. I know 20 can't go to 10, although it can, but the 1 cannot, so I'm not going to do that. 20 can go to 100, so I'm going to use 20 to 100. And I know that 20 times 5 is 100. I have to make this one whole, so 5 over 5, and 1 times 5 is 5. So we have 5 hundredths, which means 5 goes in the hundredths place. Well, if I have 5 in the hundredths place, what do I put in the tenths place? Well, since nothing is before the 5, I've got to put a placeholder there to hold that place. So 1/20th is equal to 5 hundredths. How can we use fractions to rename 6/25ths as a decimal? We need to change 6 over 25 to a number over 100. Because I know that 10 won't work, because 25 can't go to 10. But I know that 25 can go to 100. So I'm going to multiply 25 times 4 gives me 100. So I'm going to multiply by 4 over 4. 6 times 4 is 24. So I have 24 hundredths. So 4 is in the hundredths place, and a 2 is in the tenths place. So 6 over 25 is equivalent to 24 hundredths. I'm going to help you get this one all set up, and then I'm going to have you finish it all by yourself. So I need you to look at this one whole. Is that one whole going to change? No. So when we write our decimal, we're going to write one whole. This 1/20th is going to become a decimal. So I want you to look at 1/20th, and I need you to change it by multiplying by 1 to get a denominator of 10, 100, or 1,000. Once you get that denominator and you multiply by the one whole, you're going to get that numerator, and you're going to convert that fraction into a decimal. Bring this work and show your teacher. Thanks for watching.